Today, we continue walking through Noah's story. Let's imagine what it was like for Noah. The flood waters had come. For 150 days, rain and chaos covered the earth. Then, finally, the rain stopped. If it were you, wouldn't you be excited? The storm is over. Time to step out of the ark. Breathe fresh air, feel the solid ground beneath your feet. But not so fast. Even though the rain had stopped, the earth was still covered in water. And Noah had to wait. Weeks passed. Months passed. Eventually, Noah sent out a raven. Then he sent out a dove, not once, but again and again, each time hoping for a sign that the waters had receded. Why? Because like any of us, he wanted to know, can I leave this place? Has the water gone down? Is it finally time? Then one day, the Bible tells us something remarkable. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. You'd think that would be the moment. Finally, dry land. But Noah didn't move. He stayed inside the ark. Not for a few hours. Not even for a day. He waited nearly 2 more months, until God told him to go. Can you imagine that kind of restraint? Sitting in the ark day after day, knowing dry ground was right outside, yet Noah stayed. Why? Because he was waiting for God's instruction. He trusted that the same God who brought him in would be the one to lead him out. So he didn't take a single step until God said, "Go." Let's be honest, most of us would have stepped out the moment we saw dry land. We might even say, "I already prayed about it, and the ground is dry, so it must be time." But not Noah. He waited. That kind of waiting takes faith. It takes obedience, and it takes self-control, especially when everything in you wants to act. We live in a world that prizes speed. We want instant answers, fast results, and quick fixes. Waiting feels like wasted time, even failure. But in God's kingdom, waiting is not wasted. Waiting is a holy expression of trust. And Noah's quiet obedience, his patient waiting, did not go unnoticed. God saw every moment, one by one. That's why, when Noah finally stepped out of the ark and built an altar to worship, God was deeply pleased. Genesis 8 verse 21 tells us that God smelled the pleasing aroma of Noah's offering, and in response, he made this powerful promise. Never again will I curse the ground because of humans. Don't rush past that verse, let it sink in. We often take this promise for granted, as if it's just part of how things are. But if it weren't for Noah, we might not be living under this blessing of mercy today. This patient grace that holds back judgment while we still have time to repent. Have you ever wondered, what moved God to make such a promise? Who touched his heart so deeply in that moment? Wasn't it Noah? Noah's actions brought comfort to God's heart. God had once grieved creating humanity because of their wickedness. But now, through Noah, a man, part of that very humanity, God found comfort. Isn't that amazing? One man's righteousness, his faith, his patience, his restraint, moved the heart of God. And perhaps even more stunning is this thought. A human being can actually bring comfort to God. It's something we rarely think about. We're so used to seeking comfort from God that we forget. Like Noah, we can also give comfort to him. When we live in a way that pleases him, when we walk in faith and obedience, it touches his heart. It reminds him why he created us. It brings him joy instead of grief. God is still looking for people like that. He is watching, and maybe, he's looking at you. So let's pause. Where are you in the waiting? Maybe you're longing for the storm to pass. Or wondering when it'll finally be time to move forward. Ask yourself, am I rushing ahead, or waiting for God's voice? Do I trust him enough to be still, even when the door seems open? Can I offer him my patience as an act of worship, like Noah did? Remember, you too can be someone who brings joy and comfort to God. Not just with your words, but with how you live, how you wait, how you obey. Noah did it, quietly, faithfully, patiently. And if God was moved by one man back then, he can still be moved by one person today. Will you be that person? Take a moment. Be still. And ask him to shape your heart, so you too can bring comfort to his heart.